The Young and the Restless Spoilers. Full welcome back to the channel, besties. Today is a beautiful, chaotic day to completely lose our minds over the latest Genoa City drama. Grab your iced coffees, lock your doors, and strap in because we have so much unhinged tea to unpack, and I am ready to spill every single drop. Let's dive right in. You guys, I am deceased. Stop what you are doing. I am literally shaking. Wait, we need to talk about this now. I am literally filming this while I'm running errands, sitting in my car in a random parking lot because I just had to jump on here and vent. I am genuinely, physically vibrating from the sheer audacity of what just went down on The Young and the Restless. We are not just watching this show anymore, besties. We are invested. Like, I am personally offended. My soul has actually left my body, and I am straight up hyperventilating. I was mid skincare and smeared charcoal mask all over the rug when this episode ended because I literally had to yeet my phone across the room. Send help. My soul has actually left my body. My brain is visibly buffering from the cinematic mayhem we just witnessed. We need to dissect this absolute psychological masterpiece because the stakes are astronomical and I am too unwell to handle it. Okay, wait, backtrack for a second. I missed a step. Let's set the scene. So, everyone in Genoa City is basically breathing this massive collective sigh of relief because the doctors just came out and announced that Nikki Newman's intense brain surgery was a success. Dr. Nottingham, who is supposedly the best neurosurgeon in the entire world, comes out into the waiting room and says the dangerous tumor pressing on Nikki's optic nerve has been completely removed. The whole Newman family is huddled around, shedding these dramatic, perfectly lit tears, acting like the nightmare is officially over. On the surface, it's giving the ultimate happy ending. The music swells, the lighting is soft, and we are supposed to be cheering. But, besties, wait. Did I say that yet? Ugh, my brain is mush. Moving on. What if the most important part of Nikki's story is the exact thing the writers are intentionally hiding from us? I am spiraling. I am genuinely spiraling because you have to listen to the exact wording the doctor used. Dr. Nottingham confirmed the tumor was gone. He said the medical team is optimistic about her recovery. But you know what he didn't say? You know what was completely, glaringly her vision? Not a single person in that sterile, overly aesthetic hospital hallway said the words, "Her eyesight is back." The doctor straight up did not promise that Nikki would ever see again. The entire dialogue was so carefully, meticulously focused on her recovery and surviving the surgery, completely dodging the whole reason she went under the knife in the first place. The omission is so loud it is deafening. I am literally screaming into a pillow right now. Oh, hold on. I should have mentioned this earlier, but we cannot forget the absolute terror leading up to this. Before Nikki even went into the OR, she had completely lost her vision. Total darkness. Victoria literally stood there and warned the entire family that even a successful surgery might not be enough. She laid it out that the optic nerve damage could already be permanent. And Stephanie straight up admitted to Victor that no medical professional on earth could predict if Nikki being blind before the surgery would permanently ruin the outcome. They planted those seeds of doubt so deep, and you expect me to believe they just forgot about it because the tumor is in a biohazard bag? Be for real, right now. The writers spent weeks, you guys hammering home the danger to Nikki's optic nerve. It wasn't just about the tumor. It was about the nerve being crushed. Removing the tumor solves the immediate life or death crisis, sure, but it absolutely does not guarantee that a nerve that has been compressed and traumatized for that long is just going to magically snap back like a rubber band. That medical uncertainty was the entire crux of the storyline. It's basically the entire reason we've been sobbing on our couches. So for the writers to just gloss over it in the episode where we are supposed to get answers, it is a straight up crime. They are playing with our emotions like a fiddle, and I am officially pressing charges against the CBS network. And don't even get me started on the vibes of the final scene. This is where I completely lost my grip on reality. Can we talk about the beeping of the heart monitor for a second? It was literally offbeat. Like whoever did the Foley mixing for that scene decided to make the beep slightly syncopated, and it was giving me a low-grade panic attack. It sounded like a techno remix of a medical crisis. Why was it so loud? Why was the hospital lighting so aggressively blue? Anyway, back to the tea. The creative decision to end the episode the way they did is the most unhinged, diabolical thing I have ever seen. Nikki never opens her eyes. The bandages are still perfectly wrapped around her head like some tragic, high-fashion mummy. Wait, I'm glitching. Okay, back to the main event. She doesn't whisper, "I can see you, Victor." There is no tearful reunion, no joyous hugging, no miraculous soap opera revelation where the blurred camera focuses and everything is beautiful. No, the episode just ends. It ends with the entire Newman family standing silently around her hospital bed while she is completely unconscious. Who does that? For a soap opera that literally thrives on dramatic, over-the-top emotional payoffs, stopping the episode right at that exact second is way too deliberate to be an accident. If the writers wanted us to just celebrate a total victory, they had every single opportunity to let Nikki flutter her eyelashes open and recognize Victor's face. That one tiny moment would have validated all the emotional trauma we've been put through. But instead, the camera just cuts to black before anyone knows if the surgery actually saved the one thing Nikki was most terrified of losing. I am telling you, that missing scene, that lack of confirmation, is the biggest, most chaotic cliffhanger in the history of this show. But wait, we need to talk about Victor, you guys. Bestie, be for real right now. Victor Newman is officially on my do not perceive list. I am so done with him. I am literally hyperventilating right now just thinking about his absolute audacity. While Nikki was in surgery, we had to sit through hours of Victor pacing the waiting room, having these dramatic, cinematic flashbacks to every painful memory of their marriage. He's standing there looking all stoic and heartbroken, remembering their fights, his regrets, and all the times he failed her. The surgery was supposed to be his chance to fix something he couldn't control. He's crying over her, playing the devoted, terrified husband, which is honestly so unhinged. Because do you remember what this man has been doing behind her back? Did I say that yet? My brain is mush. Moving on, yes, I did. But I have to say it again. Before the surgery, when Nikki was having those blinding headaches and thought she was literally dying, Victor manipulated her. He played on her terror and got her to sign a medical power of attorney so he could take care of her. But hidden in that legal jargon was a clause that transferred all of her personal Newman Enterprises shares into a trust that he controls. He is straight up liquidating her assets to pay for special therapies while she is sedated. Victoria is already catching on that he is looting her estate before she even takes her last breath. So you mean to tell me this man is having a tear-streaked emotional breakdown in the waiting room, begging the universe to save his wife while his financial team is simultaneously robbing her blind? I cannot even. The psychological warfare is astronomical. He wants to play God. He wants to be her savior and her warden. What if the writers are intentionally withholding Victor's win? What if the tumor being gone just opens the door to a much longer, much more devastating recovery where Victor has to actually face the consequences of his actions? He thinks he's secured her empire and her life, but what if he just secured his own downfall? I'm calling it the villain arc is about to go nuclear, manifesting a total dumpster fire by the next update. Because imagine if Nikki wakes up and she actually is blind. The vulnerability, the dependence, Victor would have complete and total control over her, which is exactly what his toxic, manipulative soul wants. He would use her blindness to keep her isolated while he finishes draining her assets. But wait, what if she wakes up and she can see, but she fakes being blind? Oh my God. What if she realizes her vision is back, but she hears Victor on the phone talking about stealing her shares, and she just keeps her eyes closed and plays the victim to gather evidence? I am literally shaking at the thought of a blind-faking, revenge-plotting Nikki Newman. That would be the most iconic, high-octane psychological masterpiece of the century. She would just sit there in her silk pajamas, staring blankly ahead while Victor monologues his evil plans, and then bam, she strikes. I would legitimately throw a watch party for that exact moment. But right now, we are just stuck in this agonizing purgatory of not knowing. The medical optimism is not a confirmation. Until Nikki Newman opens those eyes and the camera actually shows us her point of view, we are completely in the dark, literally and figuratively. And honestly, this uncertainty is exactly what the writers want. They are feeding off our anxiety. And they didn't want to tie this up with a neat little bow. They wanted to leave us dangling off a cliff, swinging between hope and absolute terror. The surgery might have been a success on paper, but the deafening silence about her eyesight is the real star of the show. Sometimes the biggest plot twist isn't what a character says, it's what the writers meticulously choose to hide from us. And right now, the only secret they are guarding with their lives is whether Nikki's world will ever have light in it again. I am clutching my chest. I am unwell. This show is my entire personality now, and I need a nap